Hi everyone, welcome back to Alignmental. Rohanna here. Today I want to start a series called Yoga Quickies. That's not provocative at all, but the first yoga video I uploaded was like an hour long, and I realized that you guys don't have time for that shit. Neither do I. But the way yoga teachers plan a class is they pick a peak pose. So it'll be like an arm balance or an advanced stretch, like a split or something, and then they kind of, the whole class is preparation for that peak pose. But when you're just trying to work on like skills, like, you know, one advanced pose, like when I'm doing it at home, I don't want to spend a whole hour warming up, basically. But I choose like 5 or 6 key poses, prep poses for the peak pose, and then I do those and then practice the peak pose. So today we're going to be doing a pose called 8 angle pose. And it's an arm balance with like your leg wrapped around your arm. I'll show it here. It's pretty cool looking, but you don't have to do the arm balance. If crow and stuff and arm balance is in your practice already, you can just do it, but there's regressions. We're gonna do all the steps, and there's still merit in doing all the prep poses. All the prep poses are going to be accessible. Some of them are strength building, some of them are flexibility, but all those are going to be, anybody can do those. And then if you want to just test your strength and see if you can do the peak pose, or at least almost get there, it'll be fun. So let's get started. Yeah, let's break down that posture. So, you know, you got to wrap this. Even without the arm balance is just, if you can arm balance, once you're here, you would just tilt forward. But basically, so first you need hip flexor strength. You have to be able to keep that leg on the arm. Sure, you're kind of holding it, but you don't want to just be like muscling everything. Well, not with your arms. You want all the muscles to be sharing the load. So hip flexor strength, hamstring flexibility to be able to get the leg up here. Also outer hip flexibility, because you're doing this thing, right? You're externally rotating the hip a bit, so you need to be able to do that. And then also a lot of core. Well, any arm balance is a core, but side core, like your obliques, because the obliques will help the hip flexor to keep the leg there, right? So those are sort of the major components of it. So let's work those, stretch them out and warm them up. So first things first, the hip flexor. So come to a seated position with your legs extended and maintain a vertical spine. So if you need to have your hands behind you like a kickstand to keep your spine vertical, do so. So you're not back here, but you're also not forward, just vertical, wherever your hands need to be to facilitate that. And you're just going to march the legs in, so bend the knee and bring it to the chest, actually to the shoulder, because you will need to slightly externally rotate the leg in order for the hip flexor to be able to access where it does its job. If your leg is closed, the hip flexor is locked off. So you need to externally rotate slightly so that the hip flexor can do its job. Okay? You can stay with that. Second level is straight legs, and you're just marching it, keeping that spine vertical. If you can move the hands, you need to really engage that core, hug the belly button into the spine, and the rib cage is reaching down, and that will keep the spine long, and then the hip flexors just have a minimal amount of effort to do. But if you're back here, then the hip flexors have a lot to do, right? So the core and the hip flexors work synergistically, but everybody's got to do their job, you know, everybody has to pull their own weight. Okay, and then last level is both legs coming up at the same time. You probably will have to have your hands slightly in front of you, because this is going to want to make you go back. So keep your weight forward, and then just, again, core first, then hip flexor. Okay, that's enough of that. So now we've warmed up those hip flexors. Let's stretch them out. So we're just going to come into a a lunge with our knee down, and you can stay here either with your hands on your thigh or reaching up to get a good hip flexor stretch, or hands down. Next level is elbows down. Stay wherever you're comfortable at. I'm giving you the levels. You can try and go up. You can try being the operative term. If you don't succeed, just stay where you are. Hug that knee into the left knee into the left forearm, no, upper arm. And then next level is to lift the back knee. So make sure that right hip is not dropping. Hug in the core so that the hips are at the same level. Next level is to bring the left shoulder behind the left calf. Next level is to make airplane arms on your fingertips. Next level is for the airplane to fly. And next level is to internally rotate the arms, clasp the hands behind the back, come into a bind. You really have to keep the hips square to the floor here. If you go to open that hip, you will fall to the left. One breath, and then airplane arms, touch down, unravel if you got the bind, lower the back knee, and everyone just come up one last time. Plant the hands, step the left foot back. You can wiggle it around if you need to, and then step the right foot forward. So again here, you can stay up with the hands on the right thigh, or bring the hands down inside the right foot, or elbows down inside the right foot, or lift the back knee. Stay there, or bring the right shoulder behind the right calf. Open to airplane. Airplane takes off. Internally rotate the arm bones. Clasp the hands behind the back. You're really hugging up at the belly button here to get a bit of, feel like your lower back is lifting towards the ceiling. And airplane arms, airplane touches down, unwind, bring the knee down. One last time, we'll just push, and then hands to the floor, come back into a tabletop position. So, remember I said we gotta use the side abs, so we're just gonna do some side crunches here. I did this in my very first core video. It's one of the harder ones. So, you're just coming in like an eye. Everything's in a straight line. And you lift your whole foot, both whole feet together, and hug them together. So you're only like a couple of inches off the floor, but you should feel an engagement in those obliques. See if you can stay on that left shoulder, or weight in the right hand and reach the left hand out. Stay there, or do some tricep push-ups to warm up your arms, or the arm balance. And roll over and switch sides. Okay, so your body is long like a letter, a lowercase L. Stay on and both feet are lifted and hugging together and pointed. Stay on your right forearm, or lift the right arm forward, and weight is in the left hand, and then you can pulse with the left tricep. That's enough. I don't remember how many we did, but that's good. We just wanna, that's the thing with doing a peak pose, like 40 minutes into a class is like you're tired, but you have to warm up the muscles. That's why I like these yoga quickies. You activate them and warm them up, but like don't do it too much because then you'll just be exhausted. Okay. Okay, then we gotta just stretch out those hips a bit. So this one is called Ardha Matsyendrasana, or half Lord of the Fishes. So you can either have the left leg straight, or bring the left heel to the right bum, and then cross the right foot over the left thigh. Does that make sense? Do this. You think it's hard doing it, it's hard explaining it. And then you twist and just hug your right leg, basically. So you can stay here, or you can turn it into a twist. So again, kickstand your hand behind your back so that your spine can stay straight, so you're not leaning back, but it's not pushing you forward. Straight spine, vertical spine. Then you can bring the left arm around the right thigh. You can do what they call a stop sign, stop, or internally rotate left arm bone to bind it through that little hole there. And then if you can stay up, if your spine can stay vertical, do the same, internally rotate this guy and bind them there. And twist. Stay here. This is advanced. Next level is you can straighten the leg. This is like a deep IT band stretch. Only if you have that twist secured, I would say do this. And then come back. Do a little counter twist. And then next side. Shake it out a bit. So, right leg is straight or bent. Right heel to left bum cheek. Cross the left foot over the right thigh, and then hug your left leg. So twist here first, so try and get your belly button around the thigh. Use your kickstand if you need to, or bring your hand to the stop sign, or internally rotate, bind. Keep hugging that belly button in too so that it has clearance. And then if you want, extend. This is balance here too. You don't only have to balance on your arms. This is balance for sure. Hey. Okay. And then, yeah. This mat is great when you're really sweaty, but if you're not sweaty, it's very slippery. So you have to like put water on it. Like when I'm doing a full-on flow, I do get really sweaty, so I appreciate it, but I don't know, I'm about to do some like intense arm balance, so I need to. I see people doing this all the time at yoga, like wetting their towel. I'm like, what are you doing? But now I get it, because this mat is slippery otherwise. Don't get a cork mat unless you really sweat like me. It's very attractive and ladylike being a sweaty beast, let me tell you. Good thing I have a pretty face. Okay, so now we're gonna go into the 8-angle pose, but there's prep in it. So, which side did we hug? This side first. So, left leg is straight, and we're not just gonna go into the arm balance here. Just relax. There's more to prep for. So remember that. Bring in the knee. So do so just once though, and then you can catch the foot. So I've heard people say, like, pretend like you're answering a telephone and your foot is the telephone, kind of. Or so that's level 1. So just like answer the telephone and come back. Just stretch it out, move it out. Or cradle the baby. So right foot in the left elbow nook, and then right knee in the right elbow nook, and then you can just rock the baby. Okay, so stay wherever you are. Next level is, so you gotta remember when we put our right shoulder under here, so that's the next level. So with the left hand, grab the outside of the right foot. Then bring it back as far as you can so that you get the right arm under, and have that foot, the knee as high as possible on the arm. First we gotta stretch it out. So press the foot straight and internally rotate it a bit. And here we can also do a balance. So bend that left knee. Remember when we balanced there? And then see if you can come off the right fingertips. Okay, fingertips touch down, back to straight left leg. Okay, see, there's so many parts, so many levels. You can participate. Everyone can participate. So bring that knee back here. So without hugging it, it should be able to stay there. That's the obliques and the hip flexor that we warmed up, right? But it's not gonna have to be straining the whole time. This leg will kind of weigh it down. This leg, that hip flexor has to be working. So from here, hug in your core, like hug everything in pretty tight, and then you just push up and forward. Push up and forward and see if you can balance here. Then bend at the elbows and out, stretch the feet. And then at the bottom here, just squeeze the knees together. Then come back, hug the knees in, straighten the elbows, and lower down. It's not so bad. It's honestly not so bad because you press up with straight arms, which is more intuitive rather than like a bent elbow crow type thing. But yeah, it's fun when you can do things like that. But you can do every component but the arm balance, you know, if you've just got the flexibility and the strength. Okay, next side. So this thing again, so use that hip flexor to bring it there, just so you know it can. And then grab it. So either telephone, hey girlfriend, or rock the baby. Make sure that foot is flexed if you're rocking the baby. Or reach the right hand, grabs the outside of the left foot. Bring the foot back, the leg back as far as you can so that the left shoulder can get under the left hamstring. And then press the leg straight and internally rotate a bit. So my heel is pointing out and my toes are pointing like towards the right a little bit. Do you see what I mean? And see if you can do the balance. You will need to bend that right leg so you have some surface area to balance on. And then come back, hand down, right foot forward. Now let's go for the arm balance. So that leg should be able to stay quite high up independently, but then the right foot will weight down. Hug in pretty close, so don't try and open the legs yet. We're only going to extend the legs once we have that arm balance. So cross the legs, forward a bit, and then just push straight up. A lot of people can get to this straight, but then getting the arms bent is another task. So bend the arms, straighten the legs, hug the thighs in. So the arms are squeezing a little bit that left thigh. And then come back. Reach the leg out and then land down. So, is that fun or what? It's always fun. It's like playing. Like little kids, you see them playing around, they try shit like this all the time. They don't think they're doing work, they think they're playing. But as adults, we're like, oh, this is so much work. Find the joy in the work and find the inspiration. You know, if someone's doing something that's awe-inspiring, then be inspired, don't be intimidated. We're just gonna do one stretch just to stretch out those hip flexors now. Again, the hip flexors. So this is so camel stretch is you are in this kneeling position. And people often will start from here and have you go back and then try and touch your toes. Well, that sun is bright. But you can also start from here. Have your hands, again, like that kickstand. Just push there. You know, that'll open your hip flexors. And then you can do both hands, but you won't get as high, but having one hand in the middle, push your hips forward, but you're not opening to the side. Both hips are still going forward. Both shoulders are still pointing to the sky. And then you just open on one side. And then come down. Other hand back. Open up like so. And you can do this as many times as you like. Hold it for a little bit. But that is usually sufficient to get like a nice, what do you call it, dynamic stretch in the hip flexor rather than like holding it in those lunges that we did. That's cool too, but this is more of a dynamic stretch. You're like contracting them and then stretching them and then they shorten and lengthen, you know? Just get the blood flow there. So that's a angle pose, guys. Maybe you stuck it and you never even thought you could. Or maybe you just learned some tips here that you can then take to your practice, your yoga practice. So hit the like button, comment your experience with the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, because I want to do these more often. I like them, and I would love shit like this when I'm learning these advanced poses, just for someone who knows what they're doing to tell me just like the components, like give me the recipe card for this pose. So I'm here to give you guys the recipes, okay? So get cooking. See you next time. Bye.